Hello and welcome back to Sarah's Spare Corner. My name is Sarah. I am the host of Sarah's Spare Corner. Sarah's Spare Corner encompasses gaming as well as arts, crafts, and very simple forms of creativity. Additionally, I like sharing theories, concepts, and ideas as I am a philosophy major. And when I'm not poor, I might travel places and I might post about it. Today, I'm thinking we're just going to do a quick low-key kind of day. Perhaps we'll focus on changing out some things so they all match. Maybe we'll make a blueprint. I also did look into finally downloading some blueprints into this game so we can take a quick look at that. What a lovely scene to open up to. Also, look at these graphics. Yikes. I was not expecting that to happen. Let's go. Ultra. Press OK. All right, now we can actually see the animals and the poop still looks like squares. But dear God. Okay, that was frickin' gross. But also kind of funny. I really do think I should be having a railway here. The Timberwolf's about to die. No way. Oh, sweetie. Is that, are you the alpha? Arctic Timber. Oh my God, there's so many cloudless sulfurs. Of course, there's more Titan beetles. Oh wait, we skipped over them. Are you you're not the alpha, but you are elder. It looks like Watkins is the. Oh, we're just gonna make sure. Let's pause for a second because I know that all of my animals are probably giving birth or dying, one or the other. Or insects, I should say. Here we are. I needed to look at you, and we need to compare genetics. You're not mating with like a sibling, are you? Inbreeding. Oh no. Okay. Please tell me there was no inbreeding and I just missed it. Oh. Well, maybe it just happened. You know, maybe he just became the alpha because Daddy, died. Okay, Embrace and Emberly, I think, are the only females right now. And you are now the alpha. So let's release you both into the wild. And we'll get ourselves a new Timberwolf. Let's reset. Timber. Not timber. Timber. Okay. Oh, that's some good jeans. You're mine. Is it here? That's the trade center, isn't it? That we're not gonna send them in with the Arctic wolves. I do have my polar bears. I was thinking about how we could do polar bears, and I have a concept. I don't know if it's very good though. Okay, vet research is complete. Hepatitis A. Good for you. Adult talk is without power. Well, it looks like all our power is going out. And then, of course, our Timberwolf is dead. What do we have for mechanic research? Okay, we're just doing it all, just in case. Right. So it looks like one of our solar panels, probably you. Yep. And how are you? You need some life. And you need some life. Ba-ba-ba-ba. There should also be a generator right here. Get that researching as well. Get you and you. We never fixed this. Okay, so there are a couple of things I would like to do. At some point, I would like to actually make blueprints for these. I wonder, though, at some level, if it's going to be one of the very last things I ever do in this exhibit. This is not the greatest area to see Arctic wolves, but whatever. Here is where everything really does shine because you can see them perfectly. They're only a little space playing, but I think most people would prefer, the outside. So, well, I guess. Okay. First things first. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll fix you too. All right, let's go to construction. And that's not how it is. You know, this is what happens when you haven't played things in a while. Filters. Okay. Material. No. Favorites. Blueprints. There we go. Blueprints only. And then, Christmas decoration path with status. This is locked. Why is this locked? Oh, I might not have some of the pieces for those. That might be why. Cute. That's interesting. I don't know why these are locked though, but I downloaded these ones. So polar pole entrance, and we have the Taj Mahal. Oh my god. It's a lot of money. This Taj Mahal is cheaper though, but I can't even get it. But it says it's unfinished. Okay, that's fair. I did download, where was it? It should be in here. I think some of these things did not download. That's fun. But I did download a little art piece that was supposed to be the Grinch. I don't think I'll use it, but I downloaded it. I guess it's not here though. It's weird. The other thing, I guess it would be in nature, but even then, like, yeah, like it should be in here. It's not. I don't know why these are locked though. That's so strange. Well, whatever. Okay. So I think first thing we should do is actually make a little container for these kind of green bins. You know what I mean? So let's go into construction. I'm going to go to all. We'll turn off blueprints. Turn off blueprints. Thank you. We'll type in ice. We'll see what shows up. Oh, neon signs. More neon signs. Okay. A lattice. Okay. What about this? That's kind of dramatic, isn't it? What about this? I feel like that's very large. What about this? No, that's not thick enough. Is this thick enough? It is, but I don't like it. This is also way too thick enough. Like, drama. I do think the best option is this one. I just think that, like, I feel weird with it sticking in the ground, but then I guess I gotta remember that half of the people who make blueprints, most of the time, they have trees sticking in the ground just for the aesthetic look. That's not what that's annoying. I mean, that just looks like you're throwing something in a block of ice. So, other option. Let's see if we have some dirt options. What is this? Dirt falling. Dirt blowing. Dirt blowing. Dirt blowing. Okay. Maybe it's in nature. Let's type in dirt. Maybe it was mulch. Yes. What do we do? Like a very small, like, mulch piece. Okay, not you. You're too big. You're way too big. Way too big. Relax. Okay, maybe we go back to mulch and we just, and then now it just looks like coffee grinds have filled these containers. Okay. I definitely want to do something a little bit more intricate. I just don't know what kind of intricacies I can do on this thing, Like, I don't know. What do we have for, like, rocks, maybe? Because if anything, this is starting to look like a pot and less like a recycling bin. What about ice? What do we have in here? Of course, just our classic rocks. I don't know if I like those. What about... We'll go back to ice. Might have something in snow, maybe. That's way too big. I wish they gave you the option to shrink things. Maybe that'll be in the new game. Oh yeah, I did hear that they announced that Planet Zoo is being in the works right now, which means something very exciting for all of us Planet Zoo lovers. They will allow us to individually pick the pathing system. And I know this because they did that with Planet Coaster too. So, heck yeah. Okay, what do we have for round, maybe? Maybe there'll be something in here that can be useful. There is this wood block piece. I kind of hate that. I mean, another option is I can just use wood. So just instead of doing this, like a piece of ice, this one's too small, but we can find something slightly larger. Or even turn this. Have to be bigger. It's too small. Too small. Oh, that's cute. Hey, that's fun. I didn't know we had this. What if we did that? but it doesn't match anything. I mean, or this is what I'm saying. So we get a log piece. But the thing is I would probably think that would look really good in like maybe another zoo throughout Canada, not in the tundra. In the tundra, I would expect to see ice. But, excuse me, I keep yawning. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm also overthinking this. Like, maybe it's just not that deep. It's just a piece of ice, you know? But anything, I just want something to, like, top off that piece on the top. Because I think that does look a little silly. I don't know if I have anything objectively. Like, if we go back to ice pieces. Like, I don't, you know? I mean, I could just put mulch back on top of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. Let's go like right here. I don't know. Looks so silly. There should be more ice, no? Maybe they just assume no one would be doing this. And so they're like, yeah, we'll give you like a couple of pieces, but you really don't need more. Snow falling effect. I want to know what that looks like. Snow blowing, so medium, small, la la. I don't know. Okay, what do we have for lights? Don't write ice again. Spell light properly. There we go. Because the thing is I feel like we would have to actually, what is going on here? Light this up a little bit. Because I don't think when it comes to our nighttime, people would actually be able to see it. So if we just like have some light on this, then I think it'll be fine. This would look like a ring of pearls, right? Like if we just, hold on. Why won't you center me? You know what this looks like? Dinosaur eggs. All right, that's not what we're going for at all. Maybe what we should do is look at the samples. Like, what kind of trash bins do they have? Because we've definitely gotten a couple of pieces now. So maybe that's how we'll determine what we do here. So let's go into facilities. Okay, so there is this wood Arctic bin piece. There's also this New World piece. So the thing is these are actually, I think, built as this. Like this piece here. And then there's, of course, the conservation bin. Let's go to all blueprints, maybe. No, I guess nothing exists in here. Okay, get rid of that. So we do this. Okay, well, let's just put that down for a second. And we'll get a construction piece out. Ice. I was like, what word am I looking for again? All right, so let's just say we do this. I mean, that's better. We just steal some pieces of mulch. That was in nature, right? I think it was. I mean, I really like the fact that there is a rim there. Obviously, this ice piece is not center. Maybe we do this. I think it has some charm. No, it seems silly though. But at least it'll like kind of blend in better, you know, than like this. It'd be kind of funny when like this video comes out and there will literally just be me fiddling with a trash can for 20 minutes. Oh well. All right. So now that we've done that, maybe we can add you into a group and then let's move you. I don't know why the trash can didn't get involved. Oh, come on. Okay, well, let's edit this group then. And we'll split group. No, I don't want you. No. Why can't the trash can join? Oh my gosh. I didn't want that tree. Thank you. Does it not recognize the trash can? Wait a minute. What is this? I'll just put you there for now. And then let's do this again. You can't select the trash can? That is so ridiculous. So what I'm hearing is I'd have to put the trash can down individually and put this piece on. Oh my God, so stupid. Okay, well, whatever. Game mechanics. I get no choices in the matter. Okay, So we've merged the group. Now, we don't need, well, we could just, get rid of you and move you here. Did I make this into a blueprint? Probably should. Looks ridiculous. Ice block trash. The bin sold separately. Information, zoos, others. Okay. Now we go into construction. We look for blueprints only. All right, so at some point, I'm going to go in, change that all. But for now, what I'd like to do is we're going to change the colors on this. It doesn't make sense to have zebra patterns in a place that is so blue. Metal color. Maybe we'll do blue, like a nice light blue. And then we can duplicate this everywhere necessary. So let's actually delete all the ones we have, even though they all have different ratios of size, and our animals might get mad because these are all different sizes. At least our zoo's not huge, I thought that was something hovering above. I didn't realize that was... It's a good idea. Although I think I just praised my own idea because I think it was mine. We're allowed to do that sometimes, right? Praise our own ideas. I already know the answer. I think I might need to upgrade your guys' food. That does not look right. All right, let's delete you. And you as well. I thought I missed one. This area is so funny. It's got a look. There should be some in here now. Actually, I think this room is heated up by heaters. So I don't think so. Even though I said yes, I don't think so. There is one right here, though. Nope. Wow, look at that. 30 minutes. And we've done nothing but repaint things. You know how this is, though. We have a screen just sitting out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, boy. I mean, to be fair, our last episode, we spent a lot of time just working on the Arctic wolves. So I think a lot of this might have just been between me pausing and stuff for the Arctic wolves. At some point, I'm definitely going to have to go back in and delete all of these. So we might as well start that now. The thing is, when I put things down like this first, oh, that's hovering. It's because I would prioritize the wealth of the place first and then beautify later. And I think maybe for some people that might be a little bit backwards. So we've been running with a very ugly looking zoo because I'd wanted to invest in getting animals in, and that was kind of the main goal. Bum, 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 bum. There's no trash cans in here, which is good. I think I do that because I don't want the animals. I don't know if they would. I don't know if how this game works, but I don't want them eating. So it's like, well, I don't know if they actually do that in this game though. Even this is ridiculous looking, but it's, money first. My priorities. I'll have to go in the tunnel at some point. I'm kind of dreading it, honestly, because I don't know what's in there. Oh. That trash can is, in the way thoroughly. I must have recolored that one. Oh, here's one. There's one. And there is one over here. There's none in the pathway, but there is a donation bin in there. Is that hovering? Oh my god. When were these hovering? Oh, did something... Oh dear. Okay, well, let's duplicate that. I was like, that doesn't look right. I don't know when that happened. Okay, oops. Well, maybe we advanced duplicate this. Looks really out of place. I mean, to be fair, so does the top of this dome, but maybe we need to come back a little. Right here. Oh my goodness, excuse me. See, some of these things aren't bad, and then other things, it's like, that was sloppy. But to be fair, some of these things I did come back for to fix. So, oh, thank you. I thought there would be, oh yeah, there is one right here. Because I usually think if people are going to an exhibit, they probably should use a trash can before they go in. You know what I would really like for this game? A package for the birds of prey. I feel like that would be so much fun. A bird exhibit, like several different types of birds. I think that would just be really interesting. And an aquarium pack. Those are the two things that I want for this game. I know I mentioned previously a prehistoric animal, but I think these are more about preserving animal life. And unfortunately, prehistoric animals are prehistoric. But I would really like a birds of prey pack. I think that would just be so fun. All right, now we are here. Ugh, I don't want to do this. Ew. Okay, well, you know what? Like, before we do this one, maybe we do this one, because this one is easier to duplicate. So, what is your span? I think it's here. I found another one. I guess this area is just warm because of down below. Oh my god, I'm not even on the path. Oh wait, no I am. You know what, I really should just... I don't know, what do I want to do? Because my thinking is, maybe we do like a heater inside the glass tunnel. But I think maybe this is a better option, because it won't stick out weird on the glass. I don't know, I could be wrong about that. I actually have no idea how much expansion this is, and it would probably be smart to check. But I'm not going to until I'm finished, respectfully. Oh, I found one, an ugly one. Now I just have the Grinch stuck in my head. You're a mean one. Ba, ba, ba. I really shouldn't be singing it, because I'm probably going to get in trouble for every little copyright thing. People are so crazy with copyright. It's actually nuts. I just realized there's one already there. If anything, that should probably be here. We'll delete you, and we'll duplicate you. Oh yeah, but in here it's like pretty warm anyway. Look at all those red things. They're so cute. That would be our cloudless sulfurs. I think that'll be enough for in here. And then finally, right into the bear, why don't you? Okay. Next is the trash cans. Oh, I can't believe I have to like do the trash can or whatever separately. I can't even move them. You know what I mean? Like, ew. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining and spend the next 20 minutes doing this, I guess. I chose this life for me. Honestly, maybe it's better to just put the sample down first. Actually, no. It'd be better for the bins first. Alright, so let's go over bins. Still have to go inside the cave. Oh, and get rid of these. 14 minutes. The entire game has been nothing but trash bins and heaters. I'll give you your trash can back. We start here again. Oh, and there's a bin there I need to get rid of. I think that's mostly everywhere. Probably put one right here. Oh no, I didn't go around the foxes. That's what I missed. I did go that way, I think. Yeah, I put one here. Should probably put one over here then. One right here. I already have one there. Okay, we have to go through the tunnels now. Oh, get rid of you. And there's a tunnel over here. There's trash right here. Oh my god. some of the choices down here. Again, when I do things, I'm not thinking beauty. I'm thinking, what can we do to get this done as fast as possible? Okay, so what I'm hearing is there's no bins down here. Is there at least some like right in... Okay, there is some right in front of the door. But we're going to actually move you. That's where we came from. And we'll put one right here. All right, so this is the entrance to the exhibit. One right there. Oh. Bro. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's dyslexia, but like some of these choices I make, sometimes even I laugh about. I don't want people to be bringing their trash in here. So we're going to say no. And then maybe what we should do is put... It's not in here. Where is the don't feed the animals sign? No, it's in security, isn't it? Yeah, it's right here. Maybe that way they don't like bring their food in. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, I think that's it because I don't really have any other tunnels. So let's go back in with our blueprints and put these everywhere. Excuse me. Damn. You can probably go in this way. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back like a different day and finish the rest of this episode because I really do feel bad leaving this just on a trash can episode. But I also would rather, I shouldn't say rather. I have another recording I have to do and I guess I'd rather do that. But to be fair, sometimes I do enjoy the fact that I can have this restriction on me in terms of time constraints with this game. But I also just sometimes wish I could, choose this for myself. The only reason why I can't is because this game isn't made for Mac computers and I'm using a Mac. So I use GeForce in order to actually play this game, but I'm not paying for the subscription because I hate subscriptions and I thoroughly believe in sticking it to the machine, including Spotify. I've never subscribed to Spotify and I think it's a scam, just like how I think Netflix and Disney Plus is a scam. I sound like a boomer, but that's okay. I feel like some things we're allowed to sound old school for because preservation is healthy. Anyway, because of that, I am restricted a little bit when I'm playing this game. See, now the trash cans, I would say, look a lot better just simply from that. And I think it blends better too instead of the bright green, which to be fair, I think I did try to change the color to a lime green, but even then it was still blending in, That's just for you and me, this little block of mulch, because these Planet Zoo goers, these Spare Zoo Incorporate goers will not know. They cannot see. Ugh. This is what happens when you have jankety stairs. Honestly, I didn't think it would be so jankety. I think right here is the culprit. This is so... if this was real ice, bro, this person would be sliding all the way down. But not in this game. So, game mechanics for the win. Be a slip and slide. I don't know. I think they would be shut down just from that safety hazard. I'm kind of having fun though. Looks like I have 5 minutes left. Why did I say it like that? I wonder if this is going to be sticking out of the bottom. Yes, it is. Okay, well, to fix that, I think we should just put another one down below it. We'll get rid of the blueprints for a second. Why does this look much bigger than it? Oh, because it tears. Because I think top might be smaller. Maybe I'm just placing this wrong. Huh. I will put another one down. Oh, well. Oh, right. There's one right here. Oh, here's the blueprint. All right, we're going to have to save. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this on my own time, and I'm not going to record it, so you guys don't have to keep hostage with me on this. I'm not going to do it, though, today. So I'll come back a different day. Not that you really can tell, because you'll be a split section from now. So be patient with me. All right, so we're back. I did all the trash can stuff, and I'm thinking, I'm just going to turn this down for a second so you can actually hear me and not the sound coming through my microphone. I'm thinking that there might be a few other things that we need to change. They're very tiny things, but I wanted to tell you and show you, maybe create a blueprint with you, and then go and do it off on my own. Because I don't want to like waste your time showing you all of this stuff. Not to say that you're not interested in that. Because I've watched Planet Zoo videos and I was interested in that stuff. I just think that it's going to take a lot longer. Oh my gosh, every time I open the game, it's so pixelated. I don't know why my computer keeps always turning it off to the worst settings. Anyway, there we go. So I've changed all the trash cans, and I think what I'm going to do is I am actually going to put a heater in this system, but I'm going to have to find like some kind of piece that can sit right here, and then I can put the heater in it, because I just feel that if I just put a heater right here, it's going to look stupid. It's going to be poking through this rounded ceiling here, this oval ceiling. So I need to find a piece that will be oval on one side, flat on the other, and then I can just fit it in. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to see what we have for art shapes. So I'm thinking we might find something in here. I'm actually going to turn up the sound so I can actually hear some music playing while I'm doing this. But let's see. Maybe not this. I don't like that shape. I feel like, no. What I would like is maybe, more something like this even. A primitive oblate half. There's so many different shapes in here. That's kind of good. I don't know what I would do with these, but that's good. Oh, that's big. That's really big. All right, so we definitely want this piece, because this piece is the smallest. All right, so let's just place it down here randomly. Now, I want to advance rotate, so we're going to move you down. See, what I'm talking about is like these one pieces will be sticking out. So first of which is we're going to rotate this, and I wish I could just like, it's almost exact. Okay. Now let's move this a little bit more that way. Move you a little bit more this way. Let's go up. I'm still feeling like that's not right. Like here, maybe. Does it look slightly ridiculous? I do think so. Yes. But we are going to ignore it anyway. So let's, now that we've done that, I think what we'll do is we'll pick a color that blends in with the other piece. This is white. We could also do a black. Let's do a black. And then I want to see if we can add some light in here, because I think, how big is this lamp? I think it'll be really interesting if we did it that way. So first of which is put that down. We'll advance move you as well. No, not red, green. Thank you. Nope, it's definitely that one. I hate it when they do this. Other options are like this really wild rotation. I'm just gonna, I thought so. I was like, this is probably not correct. It should be right here, I think. Move this ever so slightly. Okay. Now, where are we hovering? We're definitely hovering for sure. So let's move you up, pull you in a bit, I think. And do I hate it? Slightly. Okay. Now that we've done that and we click OK. Now let's see. Can we change the light on this? Oh, automatic. So you can't change the light. It's just how it is. Okay. Well, that's fine. Now the last thing we wanted to do to shove in there is a heater. They're in here. Do 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 do. All right, advance move you. We'll advance rotate you while removing you. It's so dramatic. It's like one movement and it's already way off in the distance. Doesn't look center at all. What does it look like from this angle? Where did we go? There we are. It definitely looks different. I'll give it that. Tell me, is this a health and safety code violation? A heater on top of a light? All right. So I think with the temperature for this, we should just do 15 degrees. That's what I think. And in terms of range, so let's actually press play because I want to know how big this range is. I don't want it to expand too much further out. I still want the area around to be snowy. And you are in a tundra zoo. Do you really want like a hot, you know, do you really want to be going to a hot zoo like in a tundra? Facility is broken down. We'll just lower it. Nope, not this. We'll lower this a little bit more. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep you at 15. I think this is correct. Because you can kind of see how, yes, it's coming out a little bit, but... Oh no, I'm changing the degrees, aren't I? I wanted to change this. Oh, that's better, because I can see that it's starting to cut off, but it's keeping in the tube. Okay, that's what I want. All right, so now that we've done that, we can add this into a full group. I'm gonna, is it shift? We're gonna, making sure these are the things that are clicked. Okay, merge scenery into a group. All right, now let's duplicate that. I just want to make sure that everything exists in there. So we'll move it over here and let's see. Yeah, even there it's connected. Okay, great. I don't know what we just deleted. We deleted the original thing. Oops. And then we moved that. Good. Okay. So we have this, which I'm very happy with. And we'll probably do more with this later, I'm thinking. We may even need to add like the, I don't know what it's called, but there's like a fence you can put in underground that will stop the people here from going further. I think it might be in security now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's one of these, guest barrier ribbon. Or even guest barrier curb. So if I put those underground slightly, they won't be able to go past the glass, which I think would be good for us. So that is one of the things that I want to do. The next thing I think we should do, I'm actually going to delete all of these while I'm doing this piece. Because we won't need them anymore because we'll have these glass pieces. So there's that. And the last thing we should do is I think we should pizzazz one of these because I just think that's a good thing to do. Let's color. So I think this is, yeah, that's the donation. So I think what we should do is actually change it to blue, or even like an indigo maybe. No, let's do a blue. I think a blue's really nice. Okay, so now that we've done that, I also want to add to this though. And I'm thinking that we use wood. I know it's the tundra, but there is some wood on the tundra, to be fair. Maybe we can also add like a light above this, just like a small little light. I'm not really sure what kind though. This looks kind of weird. I'm not even sure what this is. This supposed to be a tree light? That doesn't look like a tree to me. We don't have very small little lights, you know. I think from what I understand as well is these can light up in the dark. I think. The only thing is though is I don't know when the zoo is going to turn into light. No, I don't like that. The last time we did something like that, it looked like pearls and I didn't like it. A solar light? I just don't even know where we'd put these, you know? Maybe we could put it inside the donation bin. Maybe. Let's try that. Like right here. Okay. These are cute, but it doesn't match our zoo theme. I still don't know why these are blocked. It might be that there's stuff in here that I just haven't researched yet. All right, let's go to architecture. We're going to look up wood. All right, what do you have for me? So I do like these pieces, but they only come out in the shape of this. Yeah, and even that wood post is too tall. We could, in theory, do something like this, but I don't know. You know what I want to Google right now is there's a town in northern Canada called Iqaluit. And I want to see what kind of architecture they have there. Because Iqaluit is part of the tundra. It's very cold. What I would like to see, like right now it's -7 to -14. And it is actually one of the best places, I think, to go see polar bears, from what I understand. Or at least they're somewhere nearby. So, let's see. There looks like there's a lot of Colgate metal houses. Iqaluit. It's such a fun word to say. Alright, so let's zoom in. The thing is also their houses are quite colored. Over there. Iqaluit. I think looking at this, I probably know what I'm going to do with some of the buildings in this game. Something that seems to be very common is there's a lot of buildings with red roofs. I really like that. Or blue roofs. I mean, they're Colgate metal, but yeah, it's very pretty. I'm thinking, looking at this, that even just the regular wood benches that we already have going might be a good option. I just think that these two wood pieces, they need a match. So there's a plank here. I'm not against that. This is a thick plank. Beam. Those are the conservation wood pieces, I think. Yeah. So I think it's one of these ones down here. Like a thin wood plank. So we'll put this down here for a second. I just want to change the color. You can't change the color? The heck is this? That's dumb. Okay. Oh, we could probably change this one because it's painted. Yes. Yes, we can. Okay. Can I choose the color? We're getting close. It's almost on the red side, you know? It'd be weird if it was like right there. It's so close. Huh. Oh my goodness. It's like so close. I wish that it could like, as you're moving it, the color would change with it. So that way you know how close you are, you know? I think we need to move this down slightly. There we go. Now, we're really close. Not close enough though. I think that's close enough. I don't know if we'll get better than that. Okay. Now that we've done that, advanced move view. X. Which one is? It's this one. This is very finicky, but I think once we get it, it will feel really good. That's what I think. What I would like, actually, I don't think it's possible, but it'd be nice if we could get smaller ones and then just carve around this area. But I don't think that exists. And we're gonna duplicate, change you as well. Now, I know that usually builders would have some kind of trick for this. I actually do not care enough. I'm gonna press OK with that one. Are these tilted? Oh my god. This happens to me every single time. No. You can still see that clipping. At some point, I'm gonna have to fix that. Oops. Went too far with that one. I think that's okay. Okay, now we can advance duplicate you 6,000 times. I hope you don't mind doing this here before I go do this by myself. You can see where I went wrong here. I'm gonna press OK on that. We'll fix that other one in a second. Moon river wider than a mile. I didn't sing any of the right notes. But you know YouTube be like, oh, you can't sing that. Oh my gosh, drama. Okay. Nope, wrong one. It was this one. Should go back in a little bit. Oh, what did I just do? Oh no. Undo that. 29 minutes and all we've been doing is placing down pieces of wood. So it goes. It's not what I wanted to do. Exit. Advance, duplicate. Oop, I thought that was the wrong one. It was not, indeed. You know, I just noticed. Do you see these tiny little specks in the grass? What is that? Seeds? Are they flowers? That's annoying. That's annoying. Okay, I think that's actually pretty good, except for a few pieces we'll just need to fix. So this is one of them. We'll get out of here. We'll fix you. That, I hate that. Okay, we'll fix you. Actually, you might just need to be moved out. Actually, should definitely go in a little bit more. I think mostly they're all good. I think we just maybe need an extra one in there. Or we could even tilt this one a little bit more. I don't know if tilting will work, but we can definitely try. No, not really. But let's just advance duplicate the last one then. It's not bad. And then we need to go into, what was it? We needed to get something. Oh, now I remember. There is this piece. I don't know if it's in this or in this game or if it's different one. But there is this piece. Oh, comes with railing. I didn't know that. Oh, should we do a bow? Wait. Well, a lot of these pieces are probably huge, right? Like hey, that's cute. And what if we did a bow and we color it blue? Or we could do the red, actually. And go back to construction. And was it this piece? We could put like right here, you know? And we'll rotate it. The holly and the ivy, though both are fully grown, over the trees that are in the woods. I don't remember the words. It's kind of cute. We definitely just need to rotate it a little bit more. Pull it in more. Okay, back to stop fiddling around. I wanted to see, there was this piece on Planet Coaster where it was like rope that you would put. Oh, but you could adjust the size any size you wanted, and I don't think you can do that in this game. There's a bicycle wheel. Okay. It'll probably be in the new one though, like the new Planet Zoo, whenever it comes out. But at least that way, like, these are clearly different from the trash bins, because I know even I'm going to be confused. So, let's get out shift. Okay, that's not it. I think it's, okay, it's actually I. And we're going to merge into a group. And then just to make sure, yeah, it's all one piece. Okay, great. So now we're going to save as a blueprint. We're going to do donation bin cover. I should probably put this in parentheses as Arctic, because I think at some point we're probably going to do some for other biomes. Made from a, how would the cadmium red, I guess? but I'm not going to smell cadmium red. An orange-ish ish wood base with a light and a cute winter bow. Just do other, because I don't know what else other blueprint this could be. Yeah. And no species. I'll just save. And now we have a very cute donation bin. But in order to do the rest, what we're going to actually have to do is, now that we've, one, figured out our tunnel, two, we're going to have to copy this donation bin and replace all the other ones. Because I also have a bunch over here, I've noticed, that are still just the basic blue. So we're going to have to get rid of that. We're going to have to delete this. I honestly don't know if I want to do this into a video or not. I guess you guys will find out in a second whether or not I just skip past that or not. But I do think it'll take a bit to do all of that, because I'm going to have to fix this pathing system. I'm going to have to put like things underneath the path to block off people from going off the path. Of course, except like here, that's fine. But like over here and stuff. So there's going to be quite a bit to do. And between my 25, like my hour limit with Navita, I don't really know if it'll be useful to show you all that. So I guess whatever happens, we're going to skip to the next clip. And you're going to find out what I did. And actually, I'm going to take a little screenshot because this is cute. That's not a screenshot. There we go. All right, well, we'll see you in a couple of seconds, whatever I decide to do. I hope you're ready with a nice hot drink or cold drink, as we're about to do, I believe, an hour and a half of a time lapse, or I guess an hour and like 40 minutes-ish. So the first thing I was like originally planning for this was to tackle all my mild small inconveniences with this zoo. And one of them was how much I did not like the way I did the roof of the main entrance area. And that's what I tried to tackle first, and it did not work out, but you're gonna see why. So I tried to do this tutorial that somebody had online where you kind of just put, I think they used a stone clay piece in the middle and then lock that into a grid with the other items. For some reason I couldn't do that with the item I had. I think it was because it was the item I had, but to be fair, I think it was also just the mode of which I tried to do this. I didn't know how to do this at all. I've never made a glass sphere in Planet Zoo before. I kind of just, did a really cheap job, as you've already seen with the ceiling of the roof of the main entrance area. I want to say it's an igloo, but obviously it's not. So this was my first attempt. And at first I'm like, okay, that doesn't look bad. Like, I can work with that. And you're gonna see why that didn't work. I think it was just like the spacing was wrong. So I was like, okay, well, I also don't even know if this matches the size of the roof that I need. Okay, so why don't we bring the stuff over there, measure it out based on the angle of the roof, see if that lines up. No? Okay. And we'll try it that way. And I was like, well, what if I use bigger pieces? Because in that way I don't have to, finick with smaller little ones. And I can just fill in the gaps with the small ones. And I realized that the large ones were actually more inconvenient to work with. Now, at some point later, we will address this again. But I think it was also like, I have to go to work pretty soon. Do I really want to like make myself like really annoyed with these building mechanics before I go to work? And the answer to that was not really.
Excuse me. I always yawn through these voiceovers, man.
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna drink a little bit of my coffee while we wait for me to stop finicking with this, because this is we cover a lot in this time lapse, and originally it was not supposed to be this many things. I really just wanted to tackle the trash bins. That was all I wanted to do. It did not work out that way, did it? See, another thought I had was, well, okay, well, what if I try adjusting the pieces while it's connected to the pole? And then I was like, okay, well, I could use this, but it's too large. Because I did end up downloading some like dome pieces from the gallery. So I thought, what if I just use someone else's pre-made one? But at that point, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I need to work on something else. So I decided to tackle the first form, which was this walkway. This ends up being mostly what this time lapse is. It is working with these glass pieces. So I start with the red fox, and I figure I probably need some kind of glass entrance into the red fox exhibit in order to, have any kind of entrance to any of the animals. So that was the first thing I worked on, was building this small little entrance area connected to the glass pieces so it doesn't look ridiculous. And figuring out a way that I can mold them both together, because I'm using pointed pieces and the glass is rounded, which I did later figure out how to troubleshoot these pieces, which is why we're going to watch the full time, I was going to say timestamp, that's not it. The full time lapse, because eventually I do find ways to deal with some of these smaller issues, but it'll take us a while to get there. And I think that's also just like many hours of working with these pieces, right? Eventually you kind of just, you're okay with it. At first I'm like, oh, I want to make sure that all the lines line up. I don't want there to be any weird overlap. Like, I don't want to have like 6 pieces all on top of each other. That will look silly. Oh my goodness. That's what I get for staying up and watching Star Trek, am I right? So, these are the little things that I try to troubleshoot here. I'm like, how do I connect? I don't have like a rounded piece. One piece is rounded and the other piece is square, and it's not a corner piece. So I'm like, how do I deal with this? I do, again, figure it out later, but this is the first form of how we do this. And I kind of end up using this piece for all of the exhibit entrances, just because it is a pretty standard one, and I think it would be kind of attractive anyway to have a repetitive blueprint for all of the entrances to the exhibits. I think there's only one that I don't use this this particular format for, and I think it might be the Arctic wolves, I think, later. But this is what I came up with. I was like, well, what if we have like just a door entrance area surrounded by the ice pieces, and then you can kind of see the entrance of what the zookeeper is doing. I also thought it would be better to incorporate some of these curb pieces around this entrance area, so then that way people don't go further past the glass. I come to find out later that those pieces are actual trash, and we will see later why, but I won't even know until the very end. So probably in the last 5 minutes, we'll figure out why. Or actually, no, I don't think it's the last 5 minutes, but anyways, there goes my first blueprint, which is the glass pieces. And then I figured, while I'm doing this, I'm like, well, it actually kind of makes sense to add the pieces in after I have my glass tubes. Because what if I could put the glass tubes down? I'll just call them the glass tubes for now. I should probably call them the glass tunnel. Put them all down, measure everything out, and then maybe I can select them into a group. But I found that for some reason, certain items will not go in the same group. So the following will not go in the same group. anything that is in the, I believe, the facility tab will not go in the same tab. Well, that's not true, because actually the speakers and the screens will go in the same tab. So benches will not go in the same tab, or will not be in the same blueprint. And I think also recycling bins and donation bins will also not become a part of a blueprint. I don't know why, but they won't. So I figured with some of these pieces, I'll make a base, something that I want to see everywhere around the zoo, and then I'll just copy and paste it. And that was my first one, but then I realized, I'm like, this is way too big. It doesn't look good. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I use... This is another idea I had. I'm like, well, what if we have like little tiny screens at the top of almost every section, advertising, like, come here for this drink or whatever, no matter where you are in the zoo. That way there's like a lot of advertisements for whatever is going on in the zoo. And later we do adjust those screens to do more than just advertise. But this right now is just a sample. And I also, of course, wanted to make sure that my screens were the right side up. I'm like, it would be really unfortunate if I did a blueprint and the screens were upside down. So I was like, yeah, let's not mess around. I don't know if you noticed this, but when I put in the speakers, I did two different speakers. One was the education speakers, and one was going to be an audio sound speaker. And I think what I'm going to do is download from YouTube or wherever some kind of like wind sounds, and I'll just have all of the speakers around the zoo play that sound. I think it would be really interesting for the, I hate to say the word, aesthetic of the zoo environment, because all the sound effects they give us are mostly water and jungle sounds. I don't know why they don't have like other sounds going on. Like, I don't even think they have rain sounds. It's just underwater or jungle sounds, like insects and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, that's not kind of the sound I want. Now, to be fair, I guess you would typically use those more in a cave. But, anyway. So this particular piece, I thought it would be nice to have education boards like almost everywhere. And I really did not like the look of the education boards, especially since a lot of these items, they have more tropical inspired graphics on the boards. And I'm like, for a tundra zoo, that doesn't really make any sense. So I figured it would make sense to make a cover for these items. Now you will see in a second, now that I've put all the wood pieces together, as I try to move them, I can't seem to grab all of the wood pieces. So I'm trying to make, a blueprint here, but I can't grab all the pieces because there's so many items in the area. So I thought it would be better to move the items out of the way, make sure all the wood pieces are down together, and then relocate more pieces. And then also I can see better over here because there's not things in the way. And then that way I can cover these boards completely and make them more matching what I want to go for, which is I'm kind of inspired by a town in the Arctic called Iqaluit. It's a northern indigenous town in, I think it's Northwest Territories, or it's northern Quebec. I'm gonna actually double check. I'm gonna fact check myself right now. I believe it's spelled I-K. Yeah, there it is. I-K. Yeah, it's Nunavut. That's where it is located. And it is one of the, I think it is either the most northern town, or it is one of the most northern towns. But I think it might be Iqaluit as being the highest one in Canada. And it is a very cute looking town from the pictures I've seen of it. Obviously, like, if they're in the tundra, there's a lot of things that they have to work with in order to make sure that they stay cold. One of the things that I've noticed when I looked up our architecture pictures of this place is they have a lot of colored roofs. And I think it's very quaint looking. And it is my plan at some point. I don't do it in this time lapse, but what I would like to do is change out all of the buildings. Well, not all of the buildings. Most of the buildings that are staff pieces and make them look like the town pieces in a Callawet. All right, so this is where we're getting to the blueprint pieces. I know I didn't really talk about this, but I figured what would be good is to duplicate everything that I want in this tunnel. So we have heaters going, we have security going, we have sound effects going, we have education, we have signs that say, please be quiet, don't disturb the animals. We have the curbs going, we have my makeshift trash and donation bins going, and floor lights. And I do add more, of course, but this is what we have temporarily. And the reason why I move it out this way is I realized when I was trying to put them down, I couldn't seem to actually move the items because it was connected. Like when I was trying to select all the items, it was also collecting all the items from other like exhibits and stuff. And I was like, that's not gonna freaking work. So then I pulled out the pieces further away. Now we do have more that's coming to this, but right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build the entrance to the cave because I realize it is a very weird angle between two different entrances. And again, this is like my first time working with the glass, so I'm like, I don't really know how to do this properly. I do come back and change this later, so if you're looking at this and you're like, that's atrocious, or you're like, well, it doesn't look bad, it'll get bad. Trust me. My finicking here is just like, it's so confusing. And it's partly because I don't even know how to use these items properly. So I figure, I'm like, okay, well, what if I use the entranceway from the animal exhibit to make this piece? And I was like, well, no, not really, because it's not the right size. So then I thought, okay, well, what if I put down individual glass pieces and then we'll have a glass pathway in the cave. Now, at some point, I actually wouldn't mind doing that, but in this time lapse, we don't do that. And the reason why is I figured it would be best to prioritize because of how long this time lapse actually ends up taking. And even though it's only 2 hours and 31 minutes of this video, which to be fair, a good portion of this video, the hour of it, was actually just me talking about making a trash bin, and you observed me making a donation and trash bin blueprint. This entire footage process took about, I think, exactly 24 hours. Because when I put it in my editing video program, that is the total time worth that it gave me for all of the footage that you're about to see. Which is also why this time lapse might be a little bit faster than like standard time lapses. Is what it is. And I'll just say that I thought it would be better when it comes to these tunnel pieces and everything to just get these pieces down first before I start trying to adjust everything around it, which is, and I realized that with this particular cave entrance, because I'm like, well, I can't do everything all at once. And what I really should probably do is focus on getting the bigger pieces down first. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Excuse me. Now, one of my ways of trying to deal with this is just by layering glass on glass. Another option I thought of was, I was like, okay, well, what if I build these pieces out over here? And then I build them in that way. I think of what I also ended up doing. Yes, I think I remember now. So what ended up happening is I realized that the pathing system that I actually just made, the glass one that you just observed me making, was actually the wrong size. And I think the reason why is, because I just used the roofing pieces. And I thought, well, also based on just trying to connect everything, that's not, or even just like the height of like the characters and everything, that's not gonna work. Then I tried using those triangle pieces and I'm like, they're too janky for the glass pieces I'm using. So this was my solution. We use some smaller bottom pieces and then use all of the items. So here we go, we delete all the glass and then we move in all of these pieces to the right amount. I'm putting in the curbs underneath, making sure that they are exactly underneath so that when I drop the dome piece below the grass, that will be the stopping area so that the characters don't walk through the wall. Because I realized that when I was making the original piece, which was just the dome pieces and not the wall pieces, to this glass blueprint, that no matter where they stand, they're going to be standing through the angle, even if they're blocked off by the curb. So their heads will be poking through. So I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. So that's when I added in the bottom pieces. And then here I am, like, taking everything that I just built, duplicating it all, and moving it over to this new dome shape, which is the actual one we end up using. And I make sure that when I'm hiding everything, because I am higher in the ground, that I make sure that when it does touch the ground, and I'm using the glass as a base, the bottom of the glass as a base of where things are going to be sitting in the grass, or sorry, in the ground, that it will all kind of line up properly. And then I had a thought. I'm like, okay, well, I feel like this is not actually enough lights. Like, those ground lights will be very pretty, but they won't be enough. So I thought, okay, well, what if we use some Christmas lights? And also, Merry Christmas. I've decided I'm posting this on Christmas, so hello. I hope you have a lovely Christmas. So I thought, why not decorate a little bit more? I mean, originally my plan was to make this more of a Whoville style. And then here's what ends up happening in this time lapse, because occasionally things will press play because, again, I'm restricted by the 1 hour of recording through Navita, which I didn't pay the subscription for. I would have to adjust, like, make sure that my animals are happy occasionally between the recording. So those will occasionally pop up. And then here is the blueprint I make. So then I decide, okay, well, what I would like to do then is I'm going to have to actually delete every one of these trash can pieces and the blueprints I already have, because when I put down this sample piece, the dome piece for the walkway, they're just going to either overlap on those items, which will also be very confusing. And so I figured it'd be best to just go through and delete literally everything except for the benches, and then also a couple of the education boards, in order that all of these things actually line up properly. And then that way, like, if I put down a bin or something, it's not on top of another bin. And so then I don't have like two bins on top of each other, because I didn't notice, because when I put down the dome and its blueprint. So this is where we're finally getting in to putting the items down. I know we've been going on for about 10 minutes now, but troubleshooting takes a few minutes. And I think the nice handy thing about this as well is because of the way that I put the curb pieces down, it made it easier to tell when I was putting the other glass pieces down where they needed to sit, because then I could just easily line them up with one piece to the other, and then like the top dome pieces, line them up so that they're not higher or lower than each other. And that would make it also easier to line up everything else, in theory. But I did come across something I didn't know about this map. I thought this map was entirely flat. That's not true. There are certain areas that are a little higher than others, but it's not clear how. Okay, so this piece I did, we're gonna actually change it later, because I thought that even though there's glass, it would still be okay to use over the solar panels. Nope. It is okay over the generator and the water treatment plant, but it's not okay for the solar panel. So we do change that later. And then I also thought, okay, well, this is a long walk. It's probably best to put in some restrooms here. And this is where I think I start figuring out how I want to do entrances connected to the dome, in order to have like a standard, if you will, like a consistent standard that the pieces will go by when it comes to connecting outside pieces like solar panels, trash cans, stuff like that. So here is me trying to troubleshoot again, and it's actually quite a simple solution. I, though, still don't know how to do it properly because I'm like, you know, a noob at this game. So here is me trying to figure out which pieces. I'm like, it's one of these pieces. Like, why wouldn't they give you a corner piece? So I figured it's this one, and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks better. So, but then I realized with these pieces, based on how they're going to overlap, they kind of do leave open air space. So I was like, okay, open air of space on the side, I should say, which is why I'm putting out these ice pieces. But then I realized, I'm like, that kind of looks like a book. I'm like, and also it's not going to work. It doesn't really match. And also these are a lot of pieces, and it's still not solving the problem. So I do come up with another solution in a second. This was, again, me just like doing so much, just trying to figure out how to connect these more circular pieces. And I do come to a conclusion. So I figure out, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, let's just move it in closer because we're doing too much. Then we're going to pull these post things, which I put outside literally everything in this game. And then I was like, okay, well, what if I just add one more circular piece? The only thing is, though, is it's just like sticking out randomly, and I didn't like that. The nice thing is with the dome pieces is they kind of lead in to a corner piece, whereas this would just be sitting out in the open. And so then I was like, okay, well, what if instead, to connect the dome piece, we just do another more what are those things called? You know, kind of like a tunnel. I don't think that's a tunnel. But this was the other solution I had to cover up those curled pieces for the corners, is just put one solid square glass piece over with a block of ice. And then that way there is a transition between the bathroom of the ice and then the glass. And I'm not saying it's the best blueprint, but I think it's a good solution. So that is how I've decided I would end up going forth with the rest of the buildings that end up connecting elsewhere. And I think I do later end up using the same kind of blueprint for other items, such as a pathway that leads to staff rooms and stuff like that. And here is me trying to, once again, troubleshoot, making sure everything is nicely aligned. We're going down the path, seeing how the customers feel about it. And I'm liking it already. I feel this looks really nice, even though it's not clean, I would say. It's nice looking. And in realism, this wouldn't look like this in real life, partly because if you were to make this zoo in real life, these glass pieces would be individually cut by a company. And they would make them so perfectly cut that there would be not this weird overlap. But we're playing a game. And I don't think these like little characters, these customers we have, are really gonna recognize that. And so then I realized here, I'm so glad I recognized early that the glass on the top is actually not gonna work. So this is where I was like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll put solar panel here because we need one, and then, you know, ruined half of my rock face. So I had to, you know, make sure everything was back in the grid, making sure everything was reachable by the mechanics. And yeah, so I think when it comes to these building pieces, even though there is some weird choices I make, and I know that I make those weird choices, I feel good about them because realism is not 100% approachable in this game. I mean, after all, this is just, oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, oh, this game's glitching. I started stressing at that point. There is actually one point where I lose an hour of work, and I'll point out why. But yeah, so here it is. I thought an idea. I was like, well, what if we go in the penguin exhibit with this? Like, it can be cold and everything for the penguins, but then we can have like a nice little pathway where the clients and customers can just walk through. And I thought because we're on a bridge, it would make sense that we'd have a pillar holding up the glass pieces, because what I ended up doing is leaving the bottom pieces out for this pathway because I thought it would just be a little bit more attractive. And then also because if you're seeing this, like, the glass pieces are bigger than the pathway, right? Which means if we leave those, they're just going to be hovering, and I thought that would be stupid. So my resolve was to remove the glass pieces so that one, the penguins can walk through and have no problem. And then also we have a nice viewing area. Like the customers got nothing to complain about. The penguins can walk through with them and you will see them. They will walk through this pathway with them. And then you can also just, I don't know, hang out with the penguins, like, and then the really burly cold. And I am individually adjusting all of these lights. It's actually funny watching this in a time lapse because I remember taking like this feeling like it's taking forever, and it's only done in like what, 5 seconds of this time lapse. That is the magic of video games and time lapses, I guess. I also thought it would be better to have a bridge up, or a railing. I always thought it was weird, like, that there wasn't one, because I'm like, I know this is a video game, the clients, customers can't just like fall off the face of the earth, but in real life, you know, those kids would. I mean, look at like the Harambe situation, you know? So this is where I start becoming a little bit more, I would say, creative with the glass pieces and not worrying so much of whether or not they overlap or not. Because I think I come to the solution realizing that whether I like it or not, there will be overlap with the glass pieces. And I think that is one of the most relieving thing when it comes to creating anything, is when you get to a point where you're like, there is no way that we could make this look absolutely clean cut, because it's just not like that. Even in real life, it's not like that. And it's also quite relieving as a creator when you make these sort of things and you don't have to like worry about whether or not everything is perfectly aligned. You know, to be fair, I do go in frequently with these lights at the side to make sure they align properly, just because I think for me, it would be mildly annoying if I see them sticking out like that. So I do fix those, but in terms of like how the glass pieces look overlapping, I don't care so much. As long as it's not like, oh, a kid walked in that and hurt themselves kind of thing, then it's fine. It's fine. Like, don't stress the small things, right? So this is where I came up with the idea where I was like, yeah, if we're making a bridge, we should definitely make pillar things on the glass corner pieces. And then that's a way we can also solve like some of these more jankety corner pieces that don't really perfectly align with each other. The glass pieces, that is. And then I also thought it would be kind of redundant to have a little too many of these pieces. So I do go through and like delete some of them. And I take a moment to look away and step away. And I'm like, man, that looks good. And I feel good about it too. I step away and I can oversee the zoo and I see the glass path. And I'm like, man, I've done so little work compared to the size of the zoo. Hence why this time lapse is so long. But it's worth it. It feels worth it. And now, because I kind of know what I'm doing, I feel a little bit more confident about working with these pieces, which also makes the process a lot quicker, because that is also the thing about building, is usually the beginning process is what takes longer. It's the learning curve. It's the, how am I going to paint this way? Am I going to paint in this style? Whatever it is. So the first form, I would say, is that. Now, I don't think most people think that way when it comes to creativity. I tend to think a lot about the things that I make, and I plan them out kind of in my head. I generally don't have like a written plan, if that's what you think. I don't. But I do have like a ballpoint figure of what I would like to see. And then I kind of just go from there. And I think when I was younger, it used to stress me out because I'd be like, it doesn't look exactly like how it looks in my mind. Because I'd always visualize things. Now it's just more of like I don't really care if it looks like that in my mind or not. I'm just glad that I did it. And so that's kind of how I approach some of these things when I'm creating like anything. And then the troubleshooting kind of comes later, like whether or not you decide to, what I tried to do here, which was put a glass piece in the corner, kind of on a curve. I'm like, well, I think that might be a little bit more attractive, but then it caused all these other glass issue problems. We had to put layers of glass on top of each other. And I was like, okay, well, what if I do like a larger dome in the corner here? And then I'm like, well, that's not gonna fit. And so there are things that sometimes they'll take a little bit more effort, or you have to think a little bit more about them. But as long as you're creating, that's all that matters. I think it was like the other day, one of my workers was like, what do you think about this? Like, do you think it's good? And I'm like, do you think it's good? Because it doesn't matter what I think. If you feel good about it, then that's what's important. And I feel good about this. And so I also noticed that this is where I start noticing that I think the ground is slightly higher in one position or another. And it's so slight. Like, you don't even realize the height difference between one level of the ground and the other. I don't know what it is about this particular land, but I guess there is just like a slight elevation in some parts of the park and some parts are not. And that wasn't something I did. I didn't touch the format of the park at all when it came to terrain. So this is just something that the park is. Oh yeah, so here we are. I'm like, well, this piece is nice because it's just a straight walkway. So all I had to do was just plop a bunch of them down. You didn't even notice how fast it was because it was just so quick of plopping them all down because it's just a nice pathway. And then I want to make sure, yeah, so here it's very clear to me that there is something wrong with the height of one size to another. And I think I come to the conclusion at some point, I'm like, do I really want to like adjust the height? No, not really. But I do. But I think it's, here I'm still like, why is it kind of like sitting like that? Like, I don't really know why. And I think I come to the conclusion that the height is different. And then I think I was also like just looking at this is where I was like, okay, well, what if I connect the seals? That I just have one larger spot for the seals. And then this is how I will do my pathing system, because I didn't like that either. Another option is I had, well, what if I have one pathing system for the workers and one pathing system for the customers that go off in the other direction? I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do that, let's just do that at a different time. Let's not do that right now. So I just focused on bettering this system for the for the workers. I also added a tubing all the way down, which we saw within a split second. Again, because this is a very fast time lapse. This is me fixing all the heights as well, because all the glass pieces are different height pieces. So here I am adjusting for that very slight elevation. But we did it, and that's all that matters. But yeah, the pathing system I made for the workers is almost the exact same, except it doesn't have all the education boards, it doesn't have music, but it does have lights and it does have heating. And I thought that would be very nice for our workers to have a very small, see here, I'm making a blueprint just specifically for the workers so that they can just at least have a nice walkway to get to the animals. And I don't do anything like Hardy here. I just kind of like close it off like that. And I'm like, well, if I want to do more later, I can, but I'm not going to here. This is where I start figuring out how to do corner pieces, because I'm like, I actually have no idea how we're going to connect this. And I think at this point, this is also where I start releasing a little bit more on whether or not the glass pieces look like they are perfectly aligned or not. Oh yeah, and then here I have to go in and adjust stuff. So I was having issues with the seals. I don't know what it was. It might have been that I adjusted the fence and that's where it started happening. So this actually happens a few times. You'll see me go in, try to fix the seals a couple of times. Also because like their disappointment just keeps getting protests every couple of unpausing moments. I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, the seals were fine 30 seconds ago, now they're not. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. And we'll talk about it when that happens. So here I am like trying to figure out how to do corner pieces on curved paths. I'm like, this is too pointy. I don't like that. This is like not aligned properly. So I decide if I'm going to use these big curved pieces, what I can do as a response is use the one piece as an outer piece and then use glass to overlap on some of those pieces. Some smaller pieces, I start using actual small pieces finally. And then I think I kind of just, make sure that it looks at least like it's rounded properly. And of course we gotta add in our lights. Pretty. Even if like there's no heating in this area, there is actually none, but later it's fine. And here I am trying to figure out how we're going to connect the tubing piece now to some of the larger areas, which is near the mountainscape, if you will. Obviously, this dome piece isn't like the best because it does kind of overlap on one side over another. I honestly thought about it. I was like, should I worry about whether or not it's perfectly aligned with the path? I decided no. I'm not going to. It's not that important. I don't think so. So here's my solution to connecting to the middle part pieces. Now, originally I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just have like tubing only around the pathing that's like not the middle area. That's what I originally thought. And you can kind of see me juggling with that here. But, right. I guess I'm like checking in with my animals because I'm getting notifications about them. Anyway, so here I am just making these pathing entrances. Oh yeah, and I also was like, okay, well, this pathing is driving me nuts. I'm finally gonna fix this. So that was my plan. The original plan to fix the paths, make them less ridiculous so that I can actually make a proper entrance panel to the middle parts. I'm like, it doesn't make sense the way it looks. Oh yeah, and I think I did juggle. Yes. So I was like, okay, well, I need bathrooms over here as well. And here I am trying to connect again these curved pieces to the last tubing. And I'm actually feeling really good at this point. I'm like, I feel like I'm starting to get a hang of like all of the weird extra corner pieces. I'm feeling a lot more confident about the way that I'm moving things, and I'm not stressing so much about whether or not they look good or not. I'm feeling good about the animals. I'm thinking this will be a really fun exhibit for the penguins. And I'm like, okay, well, I can easily just connect all these pieces together. And yeah, so I'm feeling really good. I'm like, okay, well, what if we make columns for these glass pieces that I'm not going to seal in? And so this is my solution. And you will actually see me use this a few times, and I think it looks kind of attractive. At least of course I think that way because I left it that way. And that was my solution. So like if there's glass pieces that don't directly connect to other glass pieces, I can just use those pillars and that will mend the solution. Down, please. Down. Down. Okay, stop it. Just down. Oh my goodness. Sassy cat. So here we are. I'm starting to get near the red foxes, and I'm feeling good at this point. I'm like, man, I just tackled some of the largest pathing system areas. Like, I feel really good. It's kind of funny that I thought that because there was a lot more that actually happened in this whole thing. In fact, there's going to be another video coming out shortly because there is something that I end up building just for fun. Nothing to do with this glass tubing, nothing to do with the trash or the donation bins. I just did it for fun. And because of that, it's now another video coming out. And it'll feel like at some point something just like stops and ends up starting again. That's because I cut out like a whole building thing. So then I thought, okay, well, what I can do then is also expand the Red Foxes exhibit so that now it's just going to be encompassing exactly what I originally wanted, which I feel even better about because my original plan was that I wanted so that the paths that the clients and customers walk on will be the only thing that actually is technically blocked off. And that's exactly what ends up happening. And that's why I wanted these tubing pieces, because then it would feel more like you're kind of like the animals are more free to roam and do what they want. Kind of like a safari, but like also not because, you know, polar bears for sure would eat red foxes. So maybe not, but at least like they're blocked off in a way that they're safe. They have plenty of space. They can, you know, roam however much they want because they're wild animals, you know, and at the same time, the customers get a really good viewing area of the animals. They don't endanger the animals by needing more heat because these customers be going to the tundra in t-shirts and shorts and be mad at me that they didn't show up without a coat, which is crazy behavior. So at least I can warm up the customers with the glass, because the glass does block off the heat a little bit, and still keep the animals that need colder temperatures, like the Arctic wolf, to have their cold temperatures as well. And I do go in later, and I do recognize this, that my heaters are actually, they're not warm enough, and then they get too hot and whatever. So this piece right here is just the simple entranceway. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to keep, every time I pull out this blueprint, I have to keep getting rid of the bathroom when I start using it for solar panels and everything else. So I just made the entranceway just by itself so that I can use it for staff paths, solar panels, etc., etc. And here I am going in, and I decide, I'm like, I don't like the way the bathrooms look. I don't like the way they look. And also I don't like this particular building, because it is more Norse inspired, and because we are in the tundra of Canada, it doesn't really match the, again, hate the word, but aesthetic. So I figured, okay, forget that. Now this is a temporary solution. I don't think it is something that I would like long term, but I figured we'll just do it this way, block off some areas with ice, and then that way there is a nice little entranceway to the bathrooms that has nothing to do with Norse items, and it matches a little bit more with this Christmas look we're going for. And then again, here I am having issues with the seals, because, you know, every time I open the game, there's like threatening protesters. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, also, look how cute this penguin is. So cute. I loved the way this looked in the dark, because I was actually very excited to see how this would look in the dark, because obviously, like, slowly as I'm pressing play on the game, you know, or logging in and logging out, it's slowly becoming more dark. And so I'm like, okay, how is this going to look with the lights? And I am in love with the way this looks. I think it's very attractive. I think it's very fun. It does give that Christmas look. We're in the northern Arctic of Canada, and I think it matches very well. I was talking to somebody the other day, because we were talking about fashion sense in Canada, and how it's like, you know, oftentimes made fun of online, because in Canada people tend to just wear hoodies and yoga pants, and if you're from Saskatchewan, I guess they would also call it a bunny hug. But in Canada, I think what it is in most countries, when it gets cold, they have a period of cold for maybe like, or at least I would say like fashion countries, or countries that are a lot more populated, right? Because people tend to want to be in warmer climates. They tend to maybe have like a 0 day. 0 Celsius for all my American viewers. 0 Celsius day is not, it's generally the coldest day they can get. Whereas in Canada, it can get very cold. And for long months of the time, sometimes, like depending on where you live, it can be like almost you get 2 months of summer and that's it. Or you can get 1 month of summer, but then you have many months of cold. And one of the things that Canadians tend to prioritize because of this is comfort. We prioritize comfort. We prioritize warmth over look. And I'm not saying that there isn't a fashion possibility there, but I think what it is in Canada, our fashion sense prioritizes the warmth factor more than it does. And there's a lot of clothing out there that is meant for temperatures that are warm. Like, for example, linen would be something that you would wear in a more warmer climate. And it's not to say that we wouldn't wear linen, but also we have a lot more in our closet. We have 4 different seasons of clothing. I have my winter clothes. I have very cold day clothes, which can be separate from winter clothes. We have our summer clothes, our spring clothes, and our fall clothes. Whereas some people only have like 1 or 2 seasons of clothing, we have a full range of clothing. And because of that, even I've noticed my own fashion sense can change based on what time of the year it is. I tend to be a little bit more fun, bright colored in the summertime. In the winter, I tend to have a lot more beige grays, and I'm not saying that you can't have bright colors in the winter, but I think what it is like the colors tend to be a lot more muted because it is almost like a transition period for a lot of Canadians in their minds, where we do have like more of a indoor solemn emotion leading us. Whereas in the summertime, it's like, let's go out, let's enjoy the weather. It is entirely two different sides of personality that I think comes out. So now that I've stopped talking about this, we're going to go back to talking about this. So my plan was, I thought it would be very attractive to have, because I was like trying to determine how much do I want the glass to cover the system, especially in over here and next to the Arctic wolves. There is a big portion of land that is just pathways and seating areas. And I thought, what would it be? I thought it would be more attractive to have a very tall dome above the seating area, lights, lots of like Christmas lights and stuff like that, and lots of just seating area. I also, I'm sure you probably noticed, expanded the Red Fox's exhibit to be much larger so that it connects more with the glass pieces of the pathing system. And here I am putting in more colored lights. I think I tried to do curl ones and I was like, this is not gonna work. So then I was like, well, I already have the stars down. Why don't I just use the stars specifically for this area? And then at least it doesn't feel like where the stars are in the front part of the exhibit, which is near the igloo, it kind of still matches within the parameters of the zoo because we have colored lights everywhere, right? Oh my gosh, these bulbs sometimes, depending on where they sit, because it's part of a blueprint, right? They all end up sitting in different portions. And so I thought I would like, originally when I set them up, I wanted them so that each light would align with each of the, like the individual glass pieces, corners. So there would be one light at each, but based on where I put the domes down, the glass domes and everything, sometimes they overlap. Sometimes they're not sitting on the pathing properly because I have a weird path. And so it was nice to individually move them. And I'm starting to feel how this looks. I think it looks really attractive. I'm feeling very good about it. And I'm very proud of it. I also tried to adjust some of the seating areas so that they can kind of make sense. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of lights just hanging out, so I delete those. I provide more cover in the glass pieces. This is where I also start doing something different, which is instead of using like smaller pieces, I use some large pieces depending on where the space is. And here I am blocking off, or not blocking off, I'm opening up the area for one of the vendor areas, which is in the mountain. And I'm feeling really good about all of these pieces. Obviously, like, they're not all perfectly aligned, but again, we're not thinking about that. We're thinking about, does this match? So here is an idea I had. This is, I'm sure you can't see this, but this is actually near the Red Foxes on the other side. This is where I wanted to have a food court. And I think, yes, this is where I'm going to have the food court. So there's actually two things that end up popping up. I think it's right about here where it will just feel like I all of a sudden glitch, and it's because I did a building thing, which will be our next video coming out for Planet Zoo. Oh, I just got an email. Great, I guess. I probably should turn off my phone in case I start getting text messages or something. There we go. So we built an igloo, or not an igloo, but a glass dome area over the vendor eating area. And I think this is where, yes. So I tried to fill in this dome piece, and I didn't use these triangle pieces except in these particular corner pieces because they didn't work. And I'm so excited for having this piece done because I think, one, it looks more attractive. Two, it makes more sense. And then I came up with the idea. I was like, okay, I don't like the way this curves. This is off angle. I would like to have this dome piece here, but it's not going to make sense based on the way it's lining up with the pathing system. And you kind of see this in a second where I attempt to make sure that it nicely aligns because I would really like a bigger area for seating for people to sit down, eat, just kind of take a breather. And I think my solution to this Oh yeah, so I was like, I need the light. So I did the little blueprint trick, which is you turn a different day. So here's what I do. I connect to the pathing system of the way I want. Sorry, I connect to a grid so that I have a much bigger food court, and thankfully it works. Now, originally, I'm like, okay, well, what I would like to do is have a few food options over here. I don't think it's possible. I might even need to expand this if that is the case. But regardless, here it is. We have our food area. We have heating going on. We have security. I think I also add more lights. Yes, here I add the lights, but they're actually at a higher spot. What I would like to do with this, and I'm very excited for when it does happen, is I would like to have this food court on looking an animal. And specifically, I'm thinking the moose. I think it would be very attractive to be like eating and then just see this huge moose just grazing in front of you. It would be like kind of terrifying, but also like very intriguing. See, there's the glitch. And you're kind of like, what is that thing? That's the next video. And here is the solar panel. Oh my gosh, right, because I had to like light up things in this area, because also the lights in the food court weren't lighting up because it didn't reach the solar panel. So I'm like, okay, I need another one. So this is my solution. Pull out the solar panel that way, because I also wanted the idea of, you know, we'll explain that in another video. We'll get to that when that happens. We're not here right now. We're not there right now, I should say. So this is the solution. I'm starting to feel pretty confident with those curled pieces. They make more sense. They have a clarity going on about them. I will have to adjust the solar panel at some point for when we put in the moose, because obviously that's an escape hazard for the animal. So we will fix that later, but we're not putting in the moose yet. I also did attempt like viewing what if I put down a gondola or something like that, and I'm like, you know what, that's a different video, that's a different time lapse, let's just focus on this. So I'm like, okay, don't get sidetracked. So this is actually, I think, near the Arctic wolves. Yes, it is. So I wanted to beautify this area because I really didn't like the fact that one area beautified the like the staff areas and then other areas not. So here we are. This is me just kind of putting in a couple of tundra plants, and just making it very simple. And here we are putting in the pathing system around the other entrance, which is near the Arctic wolves. I'm like, this one will be easy to put down. And again, we're having issues with the gray seals every time. I was like, okay, I need to solve this problem. Like, it's driving me crazy. What's going on? Like, they can 1 second retrieve the 1 second they can retrieve the land, and sometimes they can't. And I think that might be the last of them. I'm not sure if we may see them again. It's hard to say. So here I am trying to figure out the pathing system again near the Arctic wolves. And again, we're going to do what we did with every other animal, which is removing the fence around the animal to the point where just the pathing system, or the glass pathing system, like the glass domes and the pathing system, is the divider for the animals. So they have more space to run, and as well as it's just a little bit more of an attractive area. So I'm like, well, how do I do this? So this is my plan. I made 2 different perpendicular walkways, one around the Arctic wolves and one around the timber wolves. And then I removed the other side pieces, the closed off piece, to the open, removed those, and I'm rearranging literally everything here, making sure that they all align nicely, that the lights aren't just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm trying to connect all of these corner pieces. So we start with near the Arctic wolves. There was a very strange corner going on over here, and I'm fixing it so that the Arctic wolves can go a little bit further, closer to the guests, and making it so that there is a lot more of a walk path for the guests to go around as well. There's some benches over here. I'm adjusting the glass so that it kind of perpendicular aligns a little bit better with the path over here. And also just the corner pieces are aligning much more attractively, because now I finally understand this corner piece after so long. So you can see me just going around being like, oh, look, I know how to do it, and just putting it down everywhere. And this is how I figured out how to do it. I just duplicate the dome pieces to the point where it matches a point of the other glass piece. And then I put in the weird corner piece that it kind of looks like a water wave to me for some reason. And then it is easy to just connect that way. And I can use the square piece to go and block off the other area because this is a squared walkway. And here it is. It just sits so nicely. And all I need is like one small long rectangle piece to fix everything. And there, we just connect the corners, keep going, and we put in that piece and it fits nicely in place. And I think what it is I could have made all my paths a lot more cornered, like pointed, I should say. And I really didn't want to do that. I liked the options of my path being both cornered and curled. I wanted both. And so if I didn't have curled pathing system, I probably wouldn't have had such a big issue trying to figure out the glass pieces, because I did want a little bit more freeform for the walking areas. And because of that, we had a little bit more difficulty. But on the corner pieces, they're a little bit easier because there's actual glass pieces for those. So, right. So I guess the red fox escaped because of where I put the null barriers near the door. And so here I am trying to fix that, make sure they can't actually escape. And I'm like, okay, great. They fit. I also noticed that some people are going through the glass, and I'm like, well, that's not right. Like, especially over here. I'm like, how are they able to walk through that? I thought that was supposed to be a blocked off area. I have realized at this point in the time lapse, in the game building, those curb pieces don't actually really work. And I watched somebody at some point, I don't know if it's here or somewhere else. Actually, I think it's somewhere else, but there is a video I watch at some point, and I don't show you, but I'm going to tell you. This person gives a lowdown on all of the guest block off pieces. And they specifically said that the curb pieces, customers can still walk over them if it is too clustered. But there is some ribbon pieces, like the ones that you see at banks and stuff like that. Customers will not go around it, under it, or whatever, under any circumstance. So I end up using the ribbon pieces over the curb pieces at some point. Now, this part right here is probably the biggest disappointment of this build, and I didn't even care. I was like, I don't have the energy for this. This looks stupid, and I know it. But this is a guess, or not a guess. This is like the staff walkway. I don't care too much. I put little effort in this area. Here's where I expand the Timberwolf exhibit so that they have a lot more space. I wanted to make sure they also couldn't run away, because that would not be good. And immediately the customers love it so much more. In fact, within seconds after, just adjusting these things, it gets packed. And I'm not expecting actually the amount of customers that come in, but I think it's just because the closeness that they get with the animals. Also, I just didn't like the seating area. I didn't like the way it was sitting. I didn't like the color. I think adjusted the colors on some of these items on the speaker. This is the dome piece from the other side, and I'm just making sure that everything is slightly all coming together, glassed off. I'm making sure even that area near the Arctic wolves makes more sense. I'm moving the exhibit around so that it actually fits in properly. Now, there is a bunch of, as you see here, the path for some reason really didn't like me. And so what we're going to do to solve that, I didn't do it in this time lapse, is we're going to just go through like we did on the igloo, is just fill in those gaps, those weird little spaces in the paths with plants and stuff like that. But we're not going to do that in this time lapse. We'll do it a different time. And then here is me extending the Arctic Wolves exhibit again. We're going to add in an extra glass piece to connect the entrance that we've used on almost all of our animal exhibits to connect to the Arctic Wolves. And here we are, turning it into a null barrier. And I am feeling so good about the amount of space I just give the animals. Obviously, it says that they just escaped. They really did not escape. Relax. But you know how this game is. And making sure that all of like the new exhibits, because technically it's a new exhibit now, new items, everything goes in within the proper mechanic zones and also staff zones. And here we are putting in that glass dome. This is like getting close to the end of this large project. Thank God for blueprints, am I right? And we extend the dome actually a little bit longer because this pathway is a lot longer than the other one. Partly because we don't have a cave over here. And yes, and so here I am just trying to adjust this area because I realize at this point that I'm actually going to turn this area behind us to the right to another animal exhibit. And in order to do so, I wanted to make sure that the glass was properly cutting off everything to the length that it's supposed to. And here I am very happy because guess what? I can just use squares on one grid. And I'm like, thank God. But also realizing, yikes, those are all the different heights. So what I have to do is adjust them so that at least if there's a curve, we can just kind of ignore that. Because I was like, do I really want to adjust the entire thing just so that they're the same length? Not really. So I'm just going to put all these glass pieces on a curve so that they fit in nicely. Now here is me just trying to like, you know, improvise a little bit. I'm like, what if I use triangle pieces? Like, will they just fit off? And honestly, I think here I just kind of fooled around. I was like, I don't care. As much as I would like to, I think that was kind of my my thought process at this point was like, sure, I would like them to not overlap, but if they do overlap, then whatever, what can I do about it? Right, so here I am checking like the heating areas, just making sure. I think what I did there was just to make sure that I actually did cover the rest of the zoo properly with glass pieces to make sure that, because I felt like we were close to the end, I wanted to make sure that we were actually pretty close to the end. I even colored like the nice viewing areas for the Timberwolves. So I was like, okay, like I'm feeling like it's really coming together. Things are actually matching. I'm feeling good about it. Like I like the fact that I changed the entranceway to the Timberwolves blue. Here I'm blocking off this section from the igloo to the Timberwolves with more glass because I'm like, okay, well, what I'd like to do is what I did on the other side, which was just a very big like entrance area, not covered by glass. And then it gives you the option to go outside for a couple of seconds. I replaced the items that are a little bit more Norse inspired to be a little bit more on theme of what we're going for. And I'm adjusting all of the lights and all of the bins and everything so that they're facing the right way. Moving in the lights so that they kind of are sitting properly. We're not completely done because there's still a few things we have to do. I think this is near... Where is this? This is still near the Timberwolves, but I forgot that there were a bunch of spots that like didn't have lights. So I wanted to go in and make sure that those spots still got the lights in. And making sure that, of course, they align properly because I saw that there was a bunch just hanging out and I'm like, that looks really ugly and it doesn't make any sense. There's also like a couple of corner pieces that I didn't have any proper walking way. So here is where we have, here's where I changed the pathing system in the cave. I don't know if I do it all here. Yes, it looks like I do. So I really didn't like this pathing system in the cave. I really didn't like it. It didn't make any sense to me. I didn't think it looked very attractive either. So here is me actually changing it so that it makes sense, that it's a little like actual, like, you know, it actually is, I don't know, what is the word? Like it actually has reality in it because the pathing system prior didn't make any sense. I think I even said at the beginning of this video, I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Like it was on the other side of the cave, to be fair, and we do fix that as well, but we're fixing the glass piece here. I think that was my thing. It was like, okay, we'll get to the cave, let's just build the glass dome all the way to the cave first. And because there is quite a level difference between here and where the cave actually starts, I start doing a couple of different things so that they actually kind of align properly. And I think I do go in again and rechange this area because I didn't like the way I did this glass path where I'm about to do it, because it doesn't really make any sense. Oh, right. I guess we're making sure that the animals are still good because, you know, at some point I do end up purchasing Navita for the month. Just because I was like, wow, I have a lot of building to do and I'm so sick and tired of constantly like signing in and out every like hour on this project. And I guess I forgot to mention, or I did mention it, but like I didn't show it. So at some point I did actually lose an hour of work, because I guess the game just decided it didn't want to save. And I think it like kind of like thankfully I did save at some point in that hour. So I wasn't like completely screwed, but it wasn't like the best feeling where I was like, that could happen again. So I was like, you know what, we'll just get a Navita. We'll just get just for the month. Even though, like, I don't like it. We'll just get it for a month. Just so that this building is a little bit more, like, possible. And then I thought, okay, I never really liked how the Arctic wolves, like, the top part was just so overbearing that there was no way the customers from on top could be able to see them. And then I realized there's an issue with my path here. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to readjust it, make it a little bit more functional, makes more sense. I realize that the whole thing is like the pathing of this corner here. I thought it was just one little spot. It is actually a whole section. So I was like, okay, that's not going to work. And so my solution is to not, so here is where I'm like, wow, what happened to the path here? It's so large, this piece right here. I'm like, okay, never mind. So I just leave the path as is. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to finick with that. At this point, you may not know this because again, this is a very fast time lapse. Oh, this is where I fixed the seals. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, just, oh, I guess I didn't fix the seals there. Okay, well, I was close to it, I'll say. Okay, so here I'm building the path that, like, the tunnel, the glass tunnel, all the way to up on top of the mountain. And I think my solution here was just using a bunch of small glass pieces, just fill in the blanks. I'm like, I don't really care. We'll just do it. And we'll lead in this glass piece here so that it connects there. And we'll just fit in so that this corner piece can actually make sense. And then we'll just duplicate it twice so that it aligns. And, oh yeah, I think that one pathing system there, just like for some reason, it now decides it's grass. It's not actually path, even though it reads its path. It's very strange. And I also realized that the fence is actually blocking off the solar panel. So I was like, okay, that's not good. Now what I decided for this path, I was like, well, what I could do is attempt to go up the hill with this. And then I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm fixing the pathing system for the staff and everything here, but I think what I'm going to do is just cut it off. So that's what I end up doing. I do end up, though, fixing the dome on the top so that when people do decide to climb the mountain, if they want to, brave the cold and whatever, there's still a nice, like a nice viewing area. Yeah, so I like pull it out. I'm like, do I really want to do that? And I decide no. But I do end up like putting the lights perpendicular here. I move the benches, grab a bench I actually really like, and then I decide I'm going to put a nice glass dome up here, heat it, put some security here. And we're going to use the pillars to hold up this glass dome, and then we'll just extend the pillars a little bit more. That looks silly, but who cares? And I'm zooming out. I'm feeling good about this. I'm adjusting these items, making sure that, once again, things are not hovering, because they tend to hover because my zoo is very slightly elevated. And making sure that like the staff paths are not blocked off, because I realize I'm like, oh, there's probably a few of my staff paths and like solar panels and stuff that are all blocked off. So this is me fixing all those items, getting rid of the Arctic fences that I had and replacing them with actual like ice pieces and things that kind of made more sense in the zoo. So here is where I finally decide to tackle the dome again. That's right. That's where we're at in this zoo. Now, I'm just going to drink coffee for a slight second because I think what I'm doing here is I'm Googling how to do this. So there is a person who has a tutorial explaining how to make a dome. And I'm just going to say that I attempted it and it didn't work for me. And so you'll see why. But I'm going to drink coffee while you see why. Now, part of my problem here is that I'm using a hexagon. But part of it is also just the fact that when I spin my item, it's just not connecting. So one person online suggested using what is called the bubble. This is in construction pieces, and it's like a bubble glass piece. And this, I also, though, didn't turn on my, my proper angle snapping like you're supposed to do. But this is kind of how they recommended to do this. Another person online actually suggested to not copy and paste the middle piece, only copy and paste the other pieces around the middle piece, and then twist. But either way, I didn't like the way it was looking. I also realized, I'm like, at some point I'm like, well, okay, these connecting pieces, they don't want to connect. They're going to overlap. They're going to glitch. I don't think I like that either. And I do try to put in, I was like, okay, well, what if I use triangles everywhere? Maybe that will solve the problem. But I realized no, because the triangles are also not just fitting in my space. Now it could be, I'm going to be very honest. I think it's just me. I think that this tutorial is actually a good tutorial. I just don't think it works for the way I think and the way that I move around objects. And maybe at some point I'll figure it out and come back in, and maybe then I'll use this bubble form tutorial. But for me right now, in terms of what I actually have available in skills, what I actually understand about the game, I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to attempt this. I don't think I'm gonna be good at this. So actually, here what I'm doing is exactly what they told me to do, which is go in, individually adjust all the pieces, and I'm like, I just don't like the way it's looking for me. I understand that, again, I'm probably doing it wrong, and I understand also that maybe what I just need to do is just keep moving the pieces around. And I'm asking myself at this point, do I really want to spend this much time right now on these pieces? After I've just built the entire zoo of glass pieces. And also I realized that doesn't even fit. And I'm really annoyed by that. I'm like, okay, well, what if I do it this way? Like, I make the two triangle pieces, I connect them here, and then we duplicate that. So that was my plan here, is that I'll just do the top three pieces, and I'll use the triangle pieces to fill in those gaps. And then we duplicate that. And then we use the triangle pieces to connect. And then we'll just expand. I was like, because what if I just need to make it wider? And then I was like, that looks so stupid. And I'm like, again, it doesn't fit. I'm like, okay, so this is my plan. Is I had downloaded a dome from somebody. Used one of the really large bubble pieces for the top of the dome. And then cut off half of the pieces of their dome, like I'm doing here, and then I repurpose it. I know that I'm like thank God for the community, right? I also realized, I'm like, why does this look weird? I realized that one half of my igloo was taller than the other because I used half walls on one and full walls on the other. So I finally fixed that. But I would say that I'm sure some people might say, like, this is cheating and it doesn't count if you use other people's blueprints. I don't care. I straight up don't care. That's why blueprints are there. It's for us to use, right? Kind people in the community of Planet Zoo are giving their items for us to use, and I'm using them. I am repurposing it for my use, and I think you should too. I think we all should. We should all share our knowledge and our information with each other, because that is the purpose of humanity, is sharing common knowledge and learning from each other. Also, I'm sure there's more to purposes of humanity, let's be fair, but I think that is one of our great qualities as human beings. So I am hereby going through all of these pieces and adjusting them to my needs. And I'm going over them like, this is gonna look a little silly, but I don't care, because I am glad that the glass pieces finally align with my igloo. And they're actually going to make sense because I didn't like how it looked prior. And yes, it might glitch a bit, but at least it's glass. And that's what I wanted. And so actually some of these pieces, I do delete some because I'm like, well, actually I don't need those pieces there because there's already a glass there. Some of these pieces I just realized as I'm like finicking, I'm like, you know what? I don't even like this piece and I'll just delete it. And I individually move all of the ones that are sticking out so that they line nicely. Maybe not in absolute formation, but in a way that at least they make sense. And they kind of have a nice smooth transition because some of these pieces be sticking out more than others. And I do go in, so this, I think I did one side, yeah, and here we do the other side. Now we do go through the other side again, just to make sure that those pieces match. I'm also trying to make sure that when these glass pieces are going through, they're not going through the ice pieces and just slightly sitting through the ice. So that's kind of like what I adjust. I also adjust to make sure that the glass pieces are aligned with other glass pieces. Or if they're not aligned with glass pieces, at least there's other glass pieces that cover those glass pieces. And then also going in on the inside to make sure that they're not just hovering in space, because I have now moved this dome from its original formation to the formation that I want it to be. Now, is this a correct dome? Whatever. I don't know why when I was building this piece, but I couldn't stop thinking about the movie, The Perfect Man. If any of y'all have seen that, it's with Heather Locklear, Hilary Duff, and I can't remember the other person's name. And it's like definitely one of those more indie movies, and it is so fun. And for some reason, I couldn't stop thinking about Heather Locklear. Which also she was like at the fan expo in Canada. I didn't get to meet her, but I was like, man, if I had my parents' copy of The Perfect Man, I probably would have had her sign that. But anyways, I just couldn't stop thinking about it for some reason. Maybe I need to watch the movie. I don't know. It's absolutely silly, but I love it. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of these glass pieces in reshaping, and I'm feeling really good about this. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it finally looks like how I originally wanted it to look. Is it, like, perfectly aligned? No, but I don't really care. I like the fact that it sits nicely, that these glass pieces are matching, that it doesn't have, like, random, like the overlap makes sense. It doesn't feel janky because it's overlapped. It I don't know. Like, the mechanics just make sense. Obviously, like, if we had pieces that were a little bit more clearly well-defined, then maybe that would be something that I could reach. But I also, like, again, didn't want to worry about that kind of stuff when it came to building this. It was like, I want to build a nice igloo that has glass pieces that are going through the ceiling, and people can walk through here and enjoy the viewing. And then also there's butterflies in here, right? Like, I probably should also block off the area at some point so the butterflies don't, like, you know, leave. I don't remember. There is a piece somewhere that you can, like, it's like a mesh door. And I think it would probably be good for here. I also realized I don't actually have any heating in my igloo. So I'm like, I probably should add some, I think. So here, I think I finally go through the cave. Oh, no. I think I finally try to fix what's wrong with the seals. Oh, no. So here's what it is I decide I'm going to do management because I have a whole bunch of animals really mad at me, which is mostly the exhibit animals. So I go in, and I did watch a video someone recently showing how you can manage your exhibits to make sure that you're not constantly going in and selling your animals every 5 minutes. And here is how I solve the seal problem, okay? This is it. You take them out of the exhibit, the habitat. You put them in like the trade space, okay? And then you move the fence slightly. And you put them back in. That's how you solve that problem. Apparently it's a glitch. So here I am fixing the penguin exhibit so that it's a lot larger and a lot more space for them to walk. They've got so much space. If these penguins be complaining about space, they've got no reason, because they have so much space. And also, I guess because I expanded, they have so much long grass now. And guess what? I put the seals back in, and they have forgiven me. And here we are fixing the red fox area, because the red foxes are unhappy because people can see them. And the red foxes are stressed out because people can see them. And so here I'm like, why is it that I put the curbs there, and yet for some reason people are able to walk through the curbs? So I'm like, okay, well, let's fix this issue right now. I'm like, are the curbs just absolutely useless? The answer to that is yes. So here I use the ribbon pieces, the block off areas, and you see those people instantly disappear. It's because those ribbon pieces actually work. And now the red foxes will have nice privacy. They won't even see the customers at all. And I'm starting to look at some of these areas in the dark, and I'm like, maybe I should add some lights here. And I'm adjusting some of the speakers. Now here is where I fix the pathway in the cave. I always hated it. I didn't like it. And I actually finick with this, I think, for a good 30 minutes. Now I do have a outside viewing area from the entrance of the cave to go overlook the Arctic foxes, make it very small. And here is where I'm finicking for like 30 minutes with this stupid walkway, this stupid path in the cave. Now, I think there's several issues with this. I think the reason why it's like this is that what I really wanted to do was have not a stairway, but I wanted to have like an accessibility so that people could, they wouldn't be forced to use stairs, that they could also just use an elevation ramp. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. This cave did not like me. It didn't matter what I did. I could not make it work. I was like, what is going on here? So I think what I do is I'm like, okay, well, I'll work on outside because I need a second to think about this. And I'm going to add in some lights and come back to the path in a second. I'm like, this is the last thing I need to do, or one of the last things I need to do. So I do think I finally figured it out here, and I turn it into stairs. Unfortunately, you just can't ramp here. And I'm like, God, finally. So I fixed this area. I realized there was a bunch of construction period pieces that were just hanging out over there. So I delete those. I refurbish this area so that it's a little bit more matching, our aesthetic, and not necessarily like more of a Norse inspired aesthetic. I'm making the cave a little bit more interesting. I realize at this point that I actually need the Halloween pack researched, because they have a whole bunch of like building cave pieces. And I realize I ruined the cave and have to go back in and fix it a little bit more. I'm painting everything so that it is rock and not grass, and so that it actually makes sense in terms of what we're doing under here. Oh yes, and I'm also fixing the cave outside so that people can still overlook the Arctic fox a little bit. I'm also fixing the pathing system because the long grass is getting everywhere. Add heaters in the cave so that people are still warm. And I start adding some rocks in here. And oh yeah, fix the lights there as well. But I fixed the rocks over here so that their entrance of the cave is not just like one big, like very fake rock formation. Add some plants in here so that there's some rocks. I think I also do get rid of the glass here because I realize, I can just fit in the spot with rocks. It makes sense. Like, this is a cave. You're probably going to have rocks. But again, I realize that I probably need the Halloween pack unlocked so that I can get some of these more rock pieces from the Halloween pack. And I swear they're from that pack because I think when I got it, I was like, ooh, look. And yes, so I'm fixing all the lights, I'm adding heaters, I'm making sure that there is donation bins for everywhere. So here we are going in and putting in donation bins. Now originally what I had planned was, because I knew that the blueprint I made for the donation bins were not based on the actual donation bin location, because donation bins locked the path, whereas my formation is more of just a like a blueprint. And same with the piece that I made for the recycling bins. Originally I had made them for the New World trash bins, but I was like, no, we can just use the recycling bins. So what I did is I just placed the bins near the objects. Just made sure that I had one for each object. And then I was like, I'll go back in and move the objects to the bins. And then that way they fit. Now I wanted, for some reason, I think because of the fixing of the cave, for some reason the red foxes weren't able to get in their cave again. So I kind of just went in and fixed those items. Oh yeah, and we're putting down benches everywhere because now it's like, okay, now we actually have, like, we can actually do these final touches. Let's go in and put benches down everywhere. And I mean everywhere because, you know, I don't want my guests to feel exhausted. And also I just thought that like certain benches, based on where they are, would be really nice viewing areas for wherever the customers decide to sit for like the animals and such. Obviously, I start having huge issues here with litter. Like so many issues of litter. Because I didn't have any bins down while I was doing all this building. So between pausing and not, a lot of customers were dropping a lot of trash. So I was like, okay, I'll hire a couple of extra staff members while this is going on so that they can pick up the trash now that I have the bins down. And then we'll just move all of these objects so that they sit nicely together. And I add a couple of more floor lights depending on where things are, making sure that I turn on the, like, make sure the lights are sitting nicely. Anything that's just out of place, making sure that they're in a good spot, making sure even the bins fit nicely with these particular blue bin, like these ice pieces that are blueprints for the recycling bins, or even these donation bin blueprints I've made so that they just align nicely and don't look ridiculous. I do think I forget one, but like out of the whole zoo and I only forget one, that's not bad. And I do start deleting, yes, some of these like New World bins that I forgot about, and placing the trash bins as many places as I can, just making sure that they're there. And making sure that people no longer litter. Okay, so I think we're coming to the point where, oh yeah, so I start changing some of the colors of some of these items. I think I also probably thought to myself, I'm like, oh, well, if I'm changing the color of one of the speakers, I should probably change the color of all the other speakers. And I was like, well, I'm heading over to the penguins, so I'll do that shortly. Making sure that all the donation bins are proper size places. I think some of the bins I do move them over based on like where I know the animals are gonna be, because it just wouldn't make sense. Yeah, so here I changed the color of that exhibit, making sure the penguins can't escape, because that was definitely a concern for me. And I think they do. No, they don't. Oh, here's my thumbnail. And I figured to get the animals to spread out a little bit more, I'll put some toys over here in their new corner, and just have a little bit more space so that there's a lot more options of viewing areas of where the penguins are. I love the penguin exhibit. It's so much fun. And I come to this point where I'm like, wait a minute. I think I know what I'm going to do with that area now. There's another area around this place. You've probably seen it before in my last, like one of my last videos. So I made this area where there was just like a bunch of reindeer and stuff. Not actual reindeer, like the little decorative spots. I realized that would actually be a great space for an exhibit. So that will be our next exhibit we're gonna build, is in that area. And I probably won't have to do more to adjust that. Just kidding. I've already recorded that video. I know what I needed to do. Okay. So yes, we're just kind of putting down all the rest of the donation bins, coloring all of the talking posts so that they all match mostly. Not obviously use the same colors because I can't even remember all the same colors. And oh yeah, adding more toys for the seals so they can get closer to the glass so that the customers, clients, they have a lot more options to see the animals closer. And here is where we're getting close to the end of the time lapse. And you know how I know that? Because I am individually making all of these screens different advertisements and also different education boards. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but I start adding in animals into these screens, like the higher up screens that we actually don't have right now. And I figured that would be a way to kind of tease what kind of animals we're going to be seeing in the future. Because I was like, I don't have the energy to go back and change these later. So, and to be fair, like the advertisements might be minimal because I'm only going based on the advertisements I have right now. And I don't have a lot of like, food places right now. So yes, there will be some things not advertised, but I'm also like okay with that because I feel like it won't matter as much. So I've decided I know what animals I'm going to put in the exhibit, this zoo. And you're going to see various faces of them on the top of the TV screen hanging out. I know that like normally, from what I understand of these TV screens, they don't have to be one way or another. I think, though, that I might have done it wrong, maybe, because I do add an animal on each of these screens, and then I add advertisements as well, but I don't know if they show both or if it's just like it's still advertising technically in the corner, but we're actually advertising the animal more. I'm not really sure if the screen even flips between the advertisement and the animal. So I may have done this wrong, but it is one way to give out more education, but also advertise the animals we have in the zoo. So if you're like near the gray seals, you have an advertisement that's near the Arctic wolves, and you're like, oh, if I go over here, I'll see the Arctic wolves. So that's kind of my plan as I'm going through all of this. And this is where I start adding more staff because I'm like, I really need the trash picked up because it's bad. There's a lot of complaints about it. I do want to adjust at some point the actual animal education boards. I don't like them. The only spot that I actually think it makes sense is when you enter into the penguin exhibit. I actually have an advertisement for the penguins above the door. But every other place, it doesn't quite make sense. Or like the standing ones, I don't really like them. I think they're kind of unattractive. So I am going to, at some point, not in this time lapse, because we're so close to being done, is I'm going to make a particular advertisement board. But since we are so close to being done, let me know what you think, because I've spent a lot of time in this. Here's where I think last thing I end up doing is going through the heaters and adjusting the heat. Now I do make them too big, like the portion size, and it ends up going too much into the animal exhibit. So I do end up going back through every single, like I adjust every single one, and then I instantly regret it because it's actually the wrong size. So I end up going through every single one again just to turn down the range from the heaters. But let me know, finishing my last thought, let me know what you've thought, everything I've done. If you've done like some kind of major building project like this before, like what kind of efforts have you put in? How many hours have you spent on those kind of ideas? If you have ways of like maybe maybe you have some good criticism of like how I can work with the glass in the future, I would be really interested to hear from you because I did put a lot of energy into this. Not to say that I really want to go back and change everything, but maybe you have like a suggestion that will help me in the future because again, this is like my first time that I've actually put a ton of energy into a project like this. And I feel really good about this. I feel so good about the effort that I put in and everything. Obviously, there's always ways to improve though. This is where I think I realized I'm like, oh yeah, the range is a little large on some of these. I also, for some reason, like couldn't understand why it was still so cold, but I think it's just based on the fact that we're in the tundra. That's what I think it is. I think, oh yeah, I was also kind of trying to make sure that with the animals, the penguins, like they still get the cold that they need as well. Oh, I got a notification about my foxes inbreeding. I was like, oh no. No. So we adopt a couple of animals to make sure that there's no inbreeding going on. As I think I also got them from the red foxes, and then I got them instantly from my penguins too. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm starting to look everything over, and I realize, I think right about here, yes, that the range on the heaters are too big, because I realized it's going way too much into some of the exhibits, and it's making the animals unhappy. So I do minimize the range from 14 to about 10 or 9, depending on where it is. Obviously, like in like the food court, I don't really need to, because there's no animals in that area, but that instantly makes the animals a lot more happy. And we're doing some research, and I think we're getting close to the end of this time lapse. Let me know what you think. Have you attempted something like this before? Have you attempted some big projects of your own? Let me know how long the longest project has ever taken you. But thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sarah. I am the host of Sarah's Spare Corner. Sarah's Spare Corner encompasses gaming as well as arts, crafts, and various different forms of creativity. Additionally, I like sharing theories, concepts, and ideas, as I am a philosophy major. And when I'm not poor, I might travel places, and I might post about it. I am so excited to have this project done, and I can't wait for you to see it in actual gameplay. The blueprint for the tunnels are available under my tag, I think. If not, well, let me know. And we're going to finish off this video by observing the very artificial northern lights. But what can I say? Northern lights anytime, regardless of where it is a spectacular view. So I am so glad that you've stuck with me to the end of this video, so you can let me know what you thought about this entire journey. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye now.